Hey guys, happy post Valentine's Day. How are you? This is Erin, EW Wellness Solutions, and we're talking about self love. It's one of these concepts that it's really easy to be confused by and kind of hard to grasp. It's a weird one, right? So, to help us out, we have Ice Cube with one of my favorite songs of all time, Check Yourself. It's a good song on a lot of levels. It's good when I'm talking to my kids about knock it off before you get in trouble. It's a good one when you think about not overeating before you overdo it. It's also a song that has the word self in it, so it's good for talking about self-love. So self-love, the concept just blew my mind for years and years. I would hear it or I would see it on, little memes or GIFs on Instagram and just sort of nod and yeah, that's really cute little saying about acceptance, and there'd be like a picture of the beach, right? And I would say, yeah, I totally get that and I'm down with, loving myself. And I didn't really grasp it in a practical sense. And it reminded me of when I was a kid and I had this speech impediment, right? So I couldn't say the letter R, which is a huge bummer when your name is Erin Margaret Boardman. I remember one time asking my mother, why did you name me this if you knew I'd have an R problem? And she was in the kitchen and she looked at me and she was like, honey, I didn't know you'd have a problem with your R's. And I was just so frustrated with her because, honestly, lady. Anyway, so when I would hear about self-love, it was sort of like when somebody would ask me what my name was when I was 4 or 5 years old in a grocery store or something. And they would say, so what's your name, honey? And I would say, Ellen. And they would hear Ellen when I would really say Ellen. And they would say, oh, Ellen's a really pretty name. And I would say, no, it's Ellen. So I would keep amplifying Ellen. And they would say, oh, Ellen. So it was just not connecting. In the same way, self-care and me, not connecting. I would think bubble baths. I would think, yeah, I got my nails done. Yeah, I got the maintenance of everything done. Not understanding it was the way I presented myself to the world. It was the way I let the world in. It was the way I had relationships with other people. It was how I saw the world. So for an example, before I really understood what self-love was, if a situation went sideways, I would assume all responsibility, apologize for things that weren't mine, and really hold on to them for way too long. Now, I'm much better at discerning, wait, that was hers, this is mine, this was just miscommunication, and moving on, because I care about myself more on a much deeper level. Where I used to, not knowing I did this, just assume everything was my fault. And a lot of women do this. We're last on our priority list. We assume all responsibility. We say sorry tons of times. There's this very good Amy Schumer skit. You should look up sometime and just look at, just Google Amy Schumer, sorry, put in quotes. There's all these really great world-renowned experts in the press conference, and I think it's something like global warming. And the number of times they say sorry will make you nuts. But that's how it is sometimes. Women couch what they say. They'll say, I think, I maybe. Even if they're experts. And if you boil it all down, it comes back to self-love, right? So under self-love is this overarching concept, right? Then we have self-care. So self-care is one of the topics under self-love. So we have self-love, self-care. So self-care would be bubble baths. And then the other things we have, meditation, we have boundary setting, we have a bunch of other things. So it's a lot, but don't worry, I got you covered. Justin Bieber, what do you mean? It makes sense. Help me out, people. So we will go over it all. I know it's a lot to go over because for years it just confused me. It was Ellen to Ellen. I was saying one thing and I was not getting it. it's okay not to get it, because it's a big deal. It's such a big deal that it actually can impact our health. When we're last on our priority list, you don't make your healthcare appointments. You don't get enough sleep. You stress out. You're not as likely to prioritize yourself, because that's selfish, right? We can't be selfish. I even looked up what is self-love when I was writing my blog post, because I wanted to see what it actually meant according to, people at Google. And there was actually a little comment about not being selfish or narcissistic, because we're so scared of being selfish, because that's so horrible, right? Why is that so horrible if it means we're taking care of ourselves? Well, we can't take care of anybody else if we're taking care of ourselves, right? There's this classic little analogy about like an airplane. They always tell you when the steward people are talking to put on your own air mask before you put on your kid's air mask. It's a very overworn saying, but it's very true, in which we can't put on their air mask till we put on our own. However, how often do we spend tons of money on our kids that we wouldn't spend on ourselves? I hear that a lot from women when it comes to, prioritizing losing weight or prioritizing investing in themselves. They won't do that, but they'll spend tons and tons of money on their kids' hobbies. That's all under self-love. So I got you covered. If you feel a little uncomfortable during this section, know I'm hitting something. This happens a lot when I talk to women about weight loss, because initially it's sort of the simple stuff, right? It's calories, it's the fat, it's the sugar. So last week was all about your pets. Pets are fun. Your siblings can be annoying but fun. So if that was sort of like didn't really hit any buttons, same thing with weight loss initially. We've lost weight before. Now is the yucky foundational stuff. So if I hit any buttons with you, know something is there and don't run off. Please don't run off. Or if you're feeling anger towards me or like a little bit uncomfortable, like Erin's hitting home, what the hell, let me know. Even if you don't like it, just let me know, because that's something you should probably explore. Have a good day. It's Thursday. And